Hello there! Welcome back to Barney's Anniversary Month. We've gone through the Lyrick Studios era of the Barney Home videos, and now we're on to the short-lived Barney's House era. To those of you who may not know, Barney's house was the main setting in the videos, and it was originally intended to be the new setting for Barney and Friends, but it was scrapped, and according to production designer Bob Lavallee, they wanted a set that can be a public and private setting, and thus, the park along with the caboose was incorporated into the final setting, and the rest was pretty much history. Although the setting of Barney's house can be seen in several Barney books until 2004. As for the props themselves, the Barney couch would make a few cameo appearances in season 14 of Barney and Friends during the joke segments and the music video Boogie Woogie Piggy, and then Lori Went, the wife of Dean Went, uses the couch for an elementary school, and then in 2021, she gave the couch to Andrew Olson. As for some of the other props, like the blue engine in the background, some of them will be owned by Carrie Stinson after the show ended, and others went on for sale to preserve Barney's history. This short-lived era will be split into two parts. I will talk about Come On Over to Barney's House, and then we move to Barney's Dino Dancing Tunes. Same for the last batch, on which we'll get to them next time. My name is Dre, and let the imagination world of Barney's house begin. Come on over to Barney's house. Ah, yes, the first installment of the entire concept. The video begins with the season 3 intro of Barney and Friends as a prank, and then it transitions into a CGI world as Barney surfs down onto some musical notes. And then this was the only time of its entirety until Barney's World, where Barney is made in CGI. Barney tells the viewers on what we can expect from the video, and then it cuts to a group of kids creating a house for the big T-Rex himself. It was made out of cardboard, paper, buttons, etc. And when the house was finished, the kids put Barney inside it, and then the target audience that they're watching are transported into Barney's house. Barney is happy to see the audience coming into his house, and he had a feeling that they will be coming because Barney decided to bake some cookies. But the timer is ticking, and when the timer goes off, they'll have some nice cookies to share. Barney then pours some leftover chocolate chips onto the plate, and of course, with some imagination and pretending, they're pretending to eat them. Barney then shows around the special house, such as a little library and a painting which has numbers to press where it magically transforms into a different picture. After hearing the doorbell, he opened the door for Jill and Jeff, and they are looking for BJ to practice their band, BJ and the Rockets. Barney's house is changing and growing just like their imaginations. So, they sang Anything Can Happen. Then Barney takes Jeff and Jill into an elevator and started to explore some rooms, which had full of surprises like a ballroom, a bubble room, and a butterfly room. After that, Barney showed the kids the Spin the Globe radio given by his good friend, Professor Tinkerput. They took turns spinning the globe, listening to mariachi music from Mexico, Scotland, and Switzerland. Then, Barney finds Wee Willie Winky at his door and assures him that his clock was broken, after Willie thinks that the children are in bed at 8 o'clock. BJ have arrived, and since the cookies are still in the oven baking, BJ decides to go with a different snack, which is his favorite, and that would be pickles, where they sung Sour Pickle Face, written by Tim Klott, the former CEO of Lyrick Studios. After a sour pickle, Baby Bop came by and wiped some pickle juice onto BJ. Then Barney had a special watering can, which make the flowers grow, and given the tree some nice fruits. And as for the tickle lilies, Baby Bop poured the water on them way too much, causing her to sneeze. So they sung Keep Your Sneeze to Yourself. And after too much tissue paper, Baby Bop had one last sneeze, and then the tissues exploded into shreds, and she feels much better. Barney and Baby Bop cleaned up the mess, while BJ, Jeff, and Jill went upstairs to the music room. BJ, Jeff, and Jill are about to think of a new Dino dance when Mr. Blue Jay, puppeteered by Josh Martin, showed up. And he wants to be in the band too. So after some thinking, the Blue Jay looked awesome and cool as they perform Blue Jay Blues. After that, BJ answered the doorbell and it was Jack and Jill, and they came here to borrow a pail. And then they fell down a hill off screen.
If I told him once, I told him 100 times.
Things are not going too well for the special Dino dance because they couldn't think of any ideas, so Barney leads everyone to the computer, and Barney has a special mouse named Murray the Web Surfing Mouse, a mouse character who can plug his tail into the computer for some research. After that, they are ready to come up with some ideas of the Dino dance, and Baby Bop can help after showing some footage of Baby Bop in ballet class, and this piece of footage would be used a few times in the hit entertainment era. After that, the little dinos and the kids went to the music room, and after listening to the doorbell, Barney greets and introduces the kids, Nick and Debbie. The two kids brought the books back to Barney, and they wanted to read some more, and they couldn't decide on what they want to read. So they think of a book that they wanted to see, and they thought about puppies. So Barney brought out a book called Looking for Little Dog. It is a special book where the book was set down and the puppy magically pops out, and then they started to look for him. After looking for that little dog, he went back into the book. Then Barney magically placed some books onto the sofa, making them so comfortable and having the most fun reading books. Back at the music room, the kids and BJ are thinking of the new Dino dance. So Baby Bop had some good ideas since she is 3 years old as she sang, "Look at me, I'm 3." Then we cut back to Barney, who was hungry, so with the help of his PB&J machine, he was able to make a nice peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And then Barney heard the doorbell, and the one who was huffing and puffing is the mean old wolf who didn't have any friends, so Barney gave him a beach ball to play with and gave him a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and then he left. After that, Nick and Debbie wanted peanut butter and jelly sandwiches too, so they sang Pumpernickel. And after that, the children and the two little dinos came up with the new Dino dance, and they can't wait to hear it. They got their drums, guitar, and piano as they did the Dino dance, and everyone had a blast listening, singing, and dancing to the song itself. And it was a hit for BJ and the Rockets, and they could have had done it without Baby Bop. Any place can be special if they use their imaginations. After singing the famous song itself, the cookies were ready and they got themselves into the kitchen and digged in with the cookies and milk. And after that, they went back up to the music room to practice a new song. The viewer, which is us, pretended that we're eating the cookies and drinking the milk, and then Barney suggested for the viewer to come back to his house soon, bringing this video to a close. Before I talk about the things that I like about this video, I'll go over the facts first. Filming for the video took place in April of 2000, and it was filmed at the Color Dynamic Studio in Allen, Texas, where Barney and the Backyard Gang and the first 2 seasons of Barney and Friends was filmed. And for the dancing sequence, it was filmed at the Top Hat Dance and Performing Arts Center in Flower Mound, Texas. This was the first video to have Barney, the little dinos, and the kids breaking the fourth wall in some scenes. This was the final appearance of Jill and Jeff. This was the only appearance of Debbie, and she was supposed to appear in season 7, but she didn't get the chance because she had school duties. The same thing that I can say about the other kids. but we'll get to them once I get to the hit era. This was the first appearance of Nick, and he will be carried over into Barney and Friends, and this was the only appearances of Mr. Blue Jay and Murray the web surfing mouse, which, by the way, Josh Martin auditioned the role of Murray in a costume with makeup and intended to be the small-sized character, but the role was given to Sam Williamson. Oh yeah, and by the way, the Australian children's band group, The Wiggles, were supposed to be making guest appearances in the video, but it never happened. However, they are able to tour with Barney on the Today Show, the Saturday Early Show, and Barney's second national stage show tour, Barney's Musical Castle. Come On Over to Barney's House would have a little mall tour from September 16th to November 4th, 2000, called Barney's Open House, to promote not only the video, but also Barney Rocks. Then, it would have a book adaptation and a Barney magazine. I love everything about Come On Over to Barney's House. Not only the house is an amazing concept, but also the songs, and one of them will make their debuts, or it will be their only usage, such as Anything Can Happen, which would be used again years later in United Square mini-shows, Sour Pickle Face, Blue Jay Blues, Surfing on the World Wide Web, and of course, my personal favorite is the Dino dance, which made its debut in the Alton Towers attraction in Staffordshire, England, before making its debut in the video, and this song would be used for 10 years from 2000 until 2010. And it would also gain a variant in Barney Live World Tour, A Celebration, but we'll get to that at the last section of the series marathon. So overall, Come On Over to Barney's House is a great Barney Home video of getting to know Barney's house better. The characters are great, the music is wonderful as always, and after years of seeing a good amount of footage of this video, it's a really enjoyable one. And I definitely recommend checking it out if you wanted to know on what the setting would have been intended for Barney and Friends. So, I will give Come On Over to Barney's House a solid 10 out of 10 gold stars. Barney's Dino Dancing Tunes. Well, what do you know? A clip show takes place right after Come On Over to Barney's House. BJ had already read some books, and there's nothing to do, so he asked Barney what is he up to, and Barney told him that he got a phone call from Professor Tinkerput, who was sending over a new invention, and BJ makes a callback to Barney's big surprise.
The birthday cake he made for me was as big as a house.
The invention arrived in a small box, and it has a note from Professor Tinkerput himself. BJ put the box down, pull the string, and then they stand back, and the invention that Tinkerput called it is the Happy Dancing Music Machine. The music machine lets them play along, and they have to pick a disc and then play it and see the fun that they had that day. So BJ picked one of the discs and puts them in a little tray, and then it shows them songs from various Barney Home videos, such as Barney's Beach Party, You Can Be Anything, Round and Round We Go, Barney's Big Surprise, Barney's Rhyme Time Rhythm, and even Come On Over to Barney's House. After all of the songs that they heard, Baby Bop suggested that they can have a party every day. Now they have the Happy Dancing Music Machine, and it was a good idea, but without it, they can have fun every day just by using their imaginations. After singing the famous song itself, the music machine made a disc of them singing I Love You. And after that, they went over to Professor Tinkerput to say thank you for the Happy Dancing Music Machine, bringing this clip show to a close. This clip show was featured as a bonus feature on the Come On Over to Barney's House DVD. Then it would have a VHS release on May 19th, 2001, and it would not receive a DVD release until 2004. And this was also the final video to be released by Universal in the UK. This is one of the final videos to have the 98 to 2001 Lyrick Studios logo, and it's one of the final videos to be distributed by Lyrick Studios before it was folded into Hit Entertainment. And interestingly enough, there were two versions of the credits, where it has Blue Jay Blues on the VHS tape as well as on the bonus feature, while the 2004 re-release has the Dino dance. This was the first home video to have Kyle Nelson perform BJ just right after 2 Barney live stage show tours, and he would eventually be carried over into Barney's Christmas Star and Season 7 onwards. And this was the only time that Kyle Nelson and David Joyner performed together as Barney and BJ, respectively. This video is also unique because You Can Be Anything, Barney's Beach Party, and Round We Go were featured on the video, despite the fact they have not been released yet until 2002. So they are like a sneak peek before the videos would be released, if you will. As for the BJ design, he resembles to the costume used in Season 6, but the eyes are wider and closer together, his teeth are larger, his frill is rounder and a little bit taller, and the jaw is larger and more movable. This costume was used in the Barney's Musical Castle tour. There are a good amount of things to like about this video, such as the happy dancing music machine, the funny banter between the two little dinos, followed by Baby Bop's line, which is pretty funny.
Excuse me? Girls can rock and roll too, can't they, Barney? Watch. Oh.
And of course, Barney and Baby Bop groaned about BJ playing his drums for a whole hour during his band, BJ and the Rockets.
Oh, I practice a whole hour every day.
We know.
So overall, I think Barney's Dino Dancing Tunes is a good Barney clip show, giving us some sneak peeks on the 3 Barney Home videos, which has not been released yet. The funny moments are enjoyable, and it's all around a good and a nice clip show. So for that, I will have to give Barney's Dino Dancing Tunes a solid 10 out of 10. Well, I'm gonna stop right here for now, but don't you worry, I'll be back soon for part 2 of the short-lived Barney's House era. This is Dre Edwards, and I'll rock you guys later.